Hey guys, how's it going? As promised in the last video, I'm now going to be cleaning my Glock 26. My last video I cleaned my Ruger EC9S. And to clean this one, it's a simple breakdown. You got to make sure first the mag is empty, gun's empty, pull the trigger, pull back just slightly on the slide. Got these two takedown levers right here, one on the other side. Pull down on them at the same time, let go, and your slide comes off. Sure, if you're cleaning your Glock, you've probably seen that before. If not, now you know. Anyway, simple field strip, barrel, guide rod, recoil spring. Put the mag out of the way. Okay, and there's your gun broken down, at least broken down enough to do a standard cleaning. Now, if you wanted to do even more cleaning, you could take the trigger housing out, whatever, and take all the pins off and take everything out. But for this, we're just going to do a standard cleaning. That definitely needs to be cleaned, that's for sure. So what's cool is your Glock, at least Generation 4 and 5, I'm sure all of them do, but I haven't seen Generation 3 and earlier, so I don't know if they all come with this particular type of cleaning rod, or if they just come with a standard, straight, solid cleaning rod. But anyway, what's cool is this one is not only will fit the brush that your gun comes with, but it'll also fit the attachment that comes in a standard gun cleaning kit for 9mm, and it also has a slot right here for your patches to clean out the barrel. Okay, so we're going to start real quick. I usually end up cleaning the barrel first. That's just how I do it. And you can clean whichever you want to first. You can clean the slide, frame, guide rod, whatever. Or if you want to, you can break down the mag, take the pin out, slide the base plate off, take the spring out, and clean it if that's what you want to do. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clean the barrel off first, as well as the inside of the barrel. And this one's, it's been a while since it's been cleaned. I don't know if you can see that. It'll show up on camera. Probably not. Camera quality is not incredible, but there is quite a bit of debris in there, gunpowder residue, stuff like that. So what you're going to do is dip your patch in here. I'm using hops. This is bore cleaner, and I'm using hops. I believe it's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Hops, regular gun lube. And what you're going to do is you're going to clean the chucks of the barrel, make sure they're nice and clean, free of debris. Definitely want to make sure your feed ramp is nice and clean. Some guns, like I said in my last video, have a polished feed ramp, and you for sure want to make sure they're nice and clean and still look like they're brand new. Some guns don't. This one does not have a polished feed ramp. And, definitely want to make sure the feed ramp's nice and shining, at least as shiny as it can get. And then let's put this over here. Get another patch. Wipe off the excess bore cleaner. Once you do this, clean the chucks, the barrel, the hood of the barrel, and the feed ramp. Then the exterior will be done, except for we're going to lube it up later, which I'll show you how to do that. And Glock specifically, I've seen a video before where they have a specific way that they have you clean it. And when I watched it, because I wasn't sure myself, because I clean guns a certain way, they end up cleaning it pretty much the same way I clean it. So it's pretty much all self-explanatory. Make sure there's no residue, make sure you get all the stuff clean, make sure you wipe off any excess oil, especially in places where it shouldn't be, and try not to get oil down in the trigger housing and stuff like that. It's fine to put a little bit of lube in there to make sure the trigger housing stays lubricated and functions properly. But anyway, what we're doing there is we're putting the brush down the barrel, and what it's going to do is it's going to help clean the rifling out, clean all the gunpowder and debris out of the rifling, make your rifling nice and clean, get the depth of the rifling back, and it's definitely going to take most of all the cleaning out of the way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your little brush here that's suitable for your barrel, depending on what caliber of barrel you have. And since this is a 19, it's a 9mm. Dip it in some bore cleaner. Make sure it's not too much. That way it makes cleanup a little bit easier. And you're just going to run it through your barrel. It's going to be a little tight, but that's okay. Try and, if you can, try and spin it. That way it also cleans not only the excess, but it also gets down with the rifling. Anyway, okay, so you can run that through a few times. I usually run it back and forth twice. And clean off, because there'll be a little bit of oil that'll come off the brush because you're forcing it through and it's kind of squeezing some of the oil out. So you'll wipe the excess off. And then, as I said in the beginning of the video, what's cool about this tool is it also has the slot for the patches. And these are actually for shotguns. They have at least at my local Walmart, they had 2 bags, and these are the ones that I got. Standard shotgun patches. But I like them because they're bigger, and the ones they have for the pistols were really tiny. I didn't think they would be very adequate in cleaning the way I clean it. So slide your patch through there, and then pinch it down. Probably should have dipped it in bore cleaner first. Might have made that easier. But anyway, put it in the bore oil. Make sure there's not a ton of excess. And then you're going to squeeze it through one more time. Going to get a little dirty. Well, I guess not dirty, but make sure I get that through because these are bigger patches. Okay, run one patch through, it's wet. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This gun hasn't been cleaned in a while, but being that it's a Glock, it's usually not a big deal, but I'll do it for the sake of the video for sure. And then take one patch and then run it through dry, because you definitely don't want a bunch of oil down inside your barrel. And these patches are pretty tight, so they'll definitely get all the excess. Well, I guess the patches aren't. The patches are thick, making it tight. So it'll definitely get all the excess oil out of your barrel. But you can run it through as many times as you feel necessary. And the barrel is now finished, other than being lubed up. So I bought these brushes. You can use them if you want. I got them from Walmart. They need to be cleaned a little bit. They still work well. But it came with this one. It came with a wire brush. It didn't have this. It just had the big head. And it came with a hook and pick tool, kind of, to get in the smaller areas and get extra debris out if that's what you, if that's what you need to do. And for stuff like this, I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's going to be hard to see. But if you can see, there's quite a bit of debris in there. This gun hasn't been cleaned in a while. I think I've had this gun for a while, and I think I've cleaned it maybe once or twice, and it's probably had, I don't know, 700 rounds through it, which is, no huge feat of measure, I guess, for a Glock, because I've seen videos where people put, thousands of rounds through them before cleaning them. But nonetheless, I usually try and clean my guns as often as possible after shooting them, for sure. Try and come through here, make sure that spot's cleaned. But no, this just knocks off the excess debris. Use this to get down inside the slide rails. And yeah, it seems to work pretty good. It definitely takes a decent amount of the debris off, making not necessarily making it cleaner, but it makes the cleaning process easier because there's not as much to clean. Okay, now what you're gonna do is take one of these patches, fold it in half, dip it in your cleaner. I think I might do like a little upgrade here for too long. I heard I'm trying to use some shooter lube, like I said in my last video. I've seen a bunch of people use it, and it has proven to be a pretty nice gun cleaning oil, lubricant, and bore cleaner, because the solvent and stuff really helps get all the excess gunpowder off way easier. This hops works pretty good though, so it'll definitely get the job done. But anyway, what we're doing now is we're taking our bore cleaner, rubbing on the patches, or dipping it in the patches, or dipping the patches in the bore cleaner, terminology right, and cleaning off the inside of the gun, cleaning the firing pin block, trying to get all the excess debris out. Use a couple pads with cleaner on it, and then I'll take a couple dry pads, or patches, what you want to call them, and run those through, kind of dry it out a little bit. Keep hitting the camera, and making sure there's not a ton of excess oil in there. Nothing wrong with having a little bit extra lubricant to make sure your gun runs right, but you don't want to have a lot of oil. Plus these patches, being that they're bigger, I like them because they clean the outside of the gun really well, and you get a little extra oil on it. Okay, I think we do one more patch. Somewhat dry the inside of this as much as possible. We've got quite a bit of the debris out. That patch has a little bit of dirt on it. Not bad at all. Here in a little bit we're going to use Q-tips. I also have Q-tips and use them to get in the smaller areas. Plus I use them to lubricate the slide rails. But anyway, I just dip it in the bore cleaner. Make sure it's not too much. Run it through these slide rails. Oh, hit the camera again. There you go. There's a lot of dirt right there. A lot of debris, a lot of gunpowder, residue. Definitely want to make sure those are clean. That way when you put your lubrication on there, it'll help your slider run really smooth. Won't be gritty. Yeah, it's looking better. Still a little dirty, but it's looking better. Okay. Let's go ahead and run a couple dry ones through to get the excess oil off. Man, a little bit of extra light on my side. Yeah, it's looking better. One more. Trying to keep this all on the camera frame. I guess it's technically the second video I've done in cleaning a gun, but it's still a little different. Trying to make sure I keep everything in the frame. That way you all can see it all. Okay, so as of right now, the inside of the slide is taken care of. Looks pretty clean, way better than it was, and it all looks really good. Now, if you wanted to do a deep clean, you can just take this back plate off, depress the spring in here, take the back plate off, and then take your plunger, your extractor extractor rod, and take the extractor out, and you can clean all that. But like I say, I'm just doing a standard cleaning. Now, for this, or for the frame, I was a little different. You know, I'll still start off with a brush. You know, I'll move the slide out of the way. Start off with a brush. Gonna clean the slide lock, slide release, brush it, brush down inside here for the locking block, trigger bar, try and clean it up. Kind of brush back here in the trigger housing, brush down here in the mag well. Get up here so y'all can see it. Brush inside here, a little bit of excess residue, and that's pretty decent. Oh dang, I'm really close to the camera. Sorry, I'm looking at it, not showing the frame. Oh crap. That's pretty decent. We'll get back here on the trigger bar again. Sorry, the video quality is not good. And, yeah, like I said, the first few times I've done this style of video, so it's definitely not going to be perfect. Okay, that looks pretty decent. I think we can go ahead and start with the patches. Get everything else wiped down, cleaned up. Make sure you get that locking block as well as the takedown lever clean. Trigger bar, especially where it hits the safety plunger. That nice and cleaned up. Need to keep the gun down here so it'll stay in frame, and I know it'll stay in frame. Get down inside the mag well. Slide lock, slide release. Now when you're cleaning the trigger housing, go ahead and put some oil on there, but not a whole lot. And put it on there and kind of use the rim of the bottle to kind of squeegee a lot of it out. Want it to be damp but not dripping, because you don't want a bunch of oil getting down inside your trigger housing. It's okay to put a little lube down there, but oil won't lubricate it the right way. And clean the interior of the frame, where the guide rod goes, because there's also going to be some blowback of debris when the shoots it out of the barrel, as well as the outside of the frame where the rail is. Oh, keep it in the camera. I'll show you real quick. Like on this side, it looks clean now, but if you see on this side, see how it's gray inside the, right there, for the gunpowder coming out and getting on the outside of the gun. So I mean, if you don't want to worry about that, it doesn't bother you, then feel free. But just for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and clean it up. Of course, I usually do anyway, but go ahead and make sure it's all good and clean. It looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and run a dry patch through it. Looks like I got most of everything. I'll probably still pick a little bit of it up with the dry patch. Make sure the trigger bar is clean. Slide lock, slide release. Clean off the trigger housing, the inside of the frame, the takedown lever, guide rails. Yeah, it still picked up a little bit of stuff, which is okay. That's good. Better on the pad than inside the gun. Okay, do one more patch, and then after that, this gun will be clean. Usually when I clean my guns, I clean them to the best of my ability. Oh dang, keep hitting the camera. I don't clean them to like military inspection type cleaning. I don't know if I have enough time in the day to do that. My dad was in the military. when he was younger, about 21. Well, I guess he went in about 18, got out 21, 22. He told me the way they had to clean their guns, and I don't think I could do that. I'll definitely clean them to where they'll run and function properly, but they gotta be perfectly 100% spotless inside and out. Of course, I know just about everybody knows that, so there's no point in me saying it. But anyway, okay, so cleaning off the recoil spring, guide rod, what you do on that, there's really not a whole lot of cleaning that needs to be done. I just take a little bit of oil, rub it on there, get the excess off, and then dry it off with a patch, and it's good to go. There's not a ton of stuff that will normally clog up a guide rod recoil spring, so there's not a whole lot of cleaning that needs to go into doing that. But anyway, so everything as of right now is clean, and now you're just going to lubricate it, and I'll show you how you do. I'll show you how you do that real quick. At least how I do it in videos that I've seen about Glocks, the way Glock wants you to do it. This is pretty much the exact same thing. I use Q-tips, which is probably the easiest thing to use, and I think that might have been what they used. But anyway, take a Q-tip. I use the Hops 9 gun lube. You can use shooter lube or whatever gun butter it's out there. And Hops also makes a specific lubricant for breaking in guns, like if you're building them. And anyway, oh, hang on. Looks like I forgot a spot. Oh no, it's just shadow. Okay. Anyway, you're going to take the lubrication. You're going to lubricate pretty much on the frame. You're going to lubricate almost all the metal parts. So, guide rails right here. Lubricate the top of them. This is your locking block. Then you're going to lubricate the inside of the guide rails. There's your rear guide rails right here. Lubricate the top of them. It doesn't look like I'm lubricating, but I am. And right here on your trigger housing, you want to take a little bit of lube and you put a little drop inside there. Not a whole lot, just a little drop. If I can keep it on camera. And what you're going to do is you're going to let that migrate down, because as you can see, this part of your trigger bar coming up and connecting to your trigger connector is metal on metal, and so over time that'll start to wear and tear, and adding a little bit of lubrication goes a long way for keeping that operating properly to where you have no troubles with your trigger sticking or having trouble with your trigger getting harder and harder to pull. And you want to lubricate this little bit at the top of your trigger bar. This is what goes up, presses your safety plunger. Okay, so that's all the lubrication needs to be done inside the frame. Make sure I get everything. So we'll lay that down and get a new Q-tip. Put a little lube on it, and we'll do the slide next. Slide is pretty basic. You get the inside of the rails right here, and then we'll do right up inside the top of the inside of the slide where the hood of the barrel rides, as well as the inside of the barrel or the hole in the slide. I'm not sure exactly what you would call that, just where the barrel comes out of, where the barrel runs. Get a little bit lube on there, plus a little excess debris if there's any left. It'll definitely help clean that off as well as lubricating it. Okay, let's get the frame out of the way. Get the slide in there. Okay. Put a little bit more on a Q-tip. And like I said, we're going to get, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you can see like a little bit of a line right here, and then coming back here where the barrel rides. So we're going to lubricate that. And then it's going to put a decent amount, so we're going to take a little bit off. That way it keeps it lubricated. but it's not too much. And then the inside where the barrel rides, lubricate, take a little bit off. It's nice and shiny, but it's not too much. Hang on, I'm gonna clean the inside here. Okay. And you definitely want to make sure this side here is clean. The bullet's going to be, as well as the extractor. And you lubricate right there as well. Once again, not a ton. A few swipes. And wipe out the excess. Good to go. Okay, so now the slide has been cleaned and it's been lubricated to what Glock would say, or how Glock was saying that. I guess their preference on being lubricated and cleaned. So for the slide, or the barrel, I already got the slide done. For the barrel, I'm going to lubricate the hood of the barrel right here where it's going to ride on the inside of the slide. Same thing as everything else. There's going to be quite a bit on there, so go ahead and take some of it off. The lubrication stays on there, but it's not too much. Right here on the chucks, lubricate them where they're going to be on the locking block. A little bit of the feed ramp. And then the barrel, when I was watching the video, which this is what I've always done, is they said to put a generous amount on the barrel and then take some of it off, kind of the same way we've been doing with everything else. Just enough where you see a nice sheen or shine or shimmer on the barrel. Like right now, what I put on is too much, so you're going to take it off, a little bit of it off, and it's going to leave the barrel with a nice shiny coat on it, kind of like you put like a little clear coat on there. I don't know if you can see it on camera. The camera quality is not amazing, but kind of see the barrel shining all right. Anyway, and that's the lubrication process of it. And so now you're pretty much done with the cleaning, lubricating. You've got it all done. So now let's put it all back together. Barrel in, guide rod, recoil spring, make sure it's seated in the right spot, and you throw it back on your frame. Just like that. Make sure it runs good, runs smooth. Make sure your trigger is really nice. I mean, that's a big portion of it. Yep, it feels really smooth. And that's the portion of it. That's my version of cleaning, which is pretty standard version of cleaning a gun. And a lot of it's Glock's version of cleaning the gun. And if you want to see that, you can always type in the Glock's. I can't remember the title of the video now. I guess it's like Glock's recommendation of cleaning the Glock 19 or pretty much any Glock pistol. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to be making more videos here for too long. And let me know in the comments of anything you'd like to see. I'm going to start doing quite a bit different, I guess, playlists of videos. Some of them are going to be reviews over, say, like guns or products of guns or just standard products, period. Like, I'm going to start getting new cameras and start reviewing the cameras and anything like that. So let me know in the comments what else you would like to see. And we will see y'all soon with more videos. And we hope y'all have a good night. And we'll see y'all later. Love y'all.